Hey everyone, I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube recently about Sharia law and religious law in general, and should we allow people of different faiths to have their own laws in in a 21st century society? And I just thought I would add my own 2 cents into this because I thought it was a rather interesting subject, and I wanted to get some information out there and give my own opinion because that's what one of the reasons I'm here on YouTube, and a lot of other people. So I'm going to be looking a lot at the screen, so apologies if I'm looking straight ahead rather than at the camera. Um, and all the relevant links that I'll be talking about will be in the crotch bar, so you can see for yourself as well. So you do get a lot of people here on YouTube, or not well here on YouTube, and on just in general in society, that are very sort of vocal about their dis displeasure of not displeasure, not the right word, of their uh, apprehension, I guess, to Sharia law being implemented in this country. They're very very anti-Sharia law. They don't want it. They don't want it enforced. They don't want it, anywhere near this country. But what these people fail to realize is that uh, Sharia law is already here, and it has been for a few years now. According to this Daily Telegraph article, Muslim tribunal courts started passing Sharia judgments in August of 2007. So that's almost 3 years now. And this article was written in September 2008, and then, although I don't know how many there are now, but in 2008 there were five Sharia courts set up in Britain. One in London, Birmingham, Bradford, Manchester, and Nuneaton. And I just want to quote from someone called Dominic Grieve, who was the then Shadow Home Secretary, and he says, quote, "If it is true that these tribunals are passing binding decisions in the areas of family and criminal law, I would like to know which courts are enforcing them, because I would consider such action unlawful. British law is absolute and must remain so," end quote. Now, I don't know if this dude is lying or just willingly ignorant, because it's not as if this would be like a landmark decision for British courts, British law, to have separate laws for separate different religious denominations. Because as some of you may or may not know, British Jews have their own religious courts, which are called the Beth Din. They're primarily used by Orthodox Jews, and they, just like the Sharia law, would pertain to civil disputes, such as things like business and divorce, and things like that. And the Beth Din has been in Britain for like 400 years or something. Now I'm probably going to offend some Jews here because I'm not going to be able to say this name correctly, but uh, Armanish Ben Israel successfully petitioned Oliver Cromwell to allow the readmission of Jews into Britain in 1656, and within 50 years of that, the offices of the chief rabbi and the London Beth Din came into being to provide central religious authority for Jewish communities in London and throughout the UK. So this is a religious court system set up primarily for a certain religious denomination, been here for 400 years, and yet you don't hear any people going on about that, do you? You don't see many protests or many Facebook groups being set up to protest against the Beth Din. And again, even these two are not the same, are not sort of exclusive to just the Jews and the Muslims, because Sikhs are exempt from the law that states you have to wear a crash helmet when you're riding a motorcycle. Because of their religious beliefs, they have to wear a turban, and it's holy, and it has to stay in contact with their head. And so, if they wore a motorbike helmet, then it wouldn't be able to stay close to their head, and so they don't have to wear one because it goes against their religious beliefs. Likewise, if you're a Catholic and you work as a chemist, then you don't have to sell contraception to anybody you don't want to, because it goes against their religious beliefs, and they have every right within the British law system in order to do so. So it's not as if Sharia law would be just this sort of massive landmark case which would set the standard for years to come, because it's already been here, and just like the Beth Din, been here for literally centuries. But it just seems to go, it's just the Muslims that seem to be getting the flack here, and um, it just seems to be that the Muslims are the new people that it's okay to hate. Um, it just seems to be a lot of people seem to be fearful of them. Because, and I'm going to blame a little bit of the news media here, because it's not as if they're given a fair, given a fair approximation and a fair balance of what Muslims really are. Um, if you see any sort of Muslim on the newspaper and in the news or in newspapers, it is the fundamentalist kind. Uh, the the maniacs, the right wing sort of hardcore fundies who think, if you draw a picture of Muhammad, then we need to declare fatwas on them and religious wars and kill the infidels and shit like that. People on the fringe, and a lot of Middle Britain really sort of buy into that and see that as the face of Islam. And if you're up on if you watch a lot of videos on YouTube and the debates that people have, that that's not true. There are a lot of moderate Muslims who denounce terrorism and are perfectly willing to let bygones be bygones and let people live the way they want as long as they can, which I'm perfectly fine with. But it just seems that people are allowed to say bad shit about Muslims and even racist stuff, and it's okay because Muslims are the new group that you're allowed to discriminate against and say negative things about, because it just seems like people are fearful of them, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but if you're letting them scare you and control you, then they've won. But I don't think that any religious laws should be applicable in this country, really. I think they're bad for the country. First off, the laws are laid down by God. Well, men really, but they think that these laws are laid down by God. But really they were primarily made and written by men and for men. They are incredibly biased and antiquated. That's why in Sharia law the witness of a woman is worth half that of a man in Sharia court. Now you can imagine, especially with cases of rape, how damaging, how oppressive that can be. And birth control is outlawed as well, and they also have laws like the punishment for thievery is amputation. To me these are laws of a different time, and they should stay, in the past where they belong. Now I'm not stupid. I know laws like this will never ever be passed here. But do we really want a legal system in the UK that has these on their books, as it were, that have these laws as part of it? I know they'll never be enforced, but still, it makes me uneasy. Likewise, in complete opposite to that, our secular laws are meant to be for the benefit of all people, regardless of, race, religion, gender, and color, creed, sexual orientation. They're supposed to be for all people, not just for men of a certain religion. Second off, it's a lot easier to get rid of laws made by men than laws made by God. If you think God made the rules, then they're pretty much, and you'll have to excuse the pun here, set in stone. And it would be easier to walk on the sun really than try to change one of God's laws. And even if you did try to change them, the next time someone sees you would probably be when the neighbours complain to the police about the smell. It's why you have some Christians on YouTube trying to defend the slavery that's in the Bible, and why you have people like Nephilim Free trying to defend the passage in the Bible where the soldiers pick up the kids and smash their heads against the rocks. If you think God handed down rules for you to live by, then by definition they are perfect, they cannot be changed, and they are always relevant no matter what society or what time you live in. Thankfully we know better, and thankfully there are a lot of moderate Christians out there, who are brought, who are with the majority of the rest of us who want secular laws and are not bigoted and hate filled, and that's great. I like those Christians. You are a Christian like that, I want to be your friend. You can comment away on my videos. We can be friends, we can go out for coffee. But I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But the beauty of our secular law, if there can be such a thing, is that it can change. It can adapt and it can evolve as our morals and our societies do, and we know that happens. There is no dogma saying that that these laws can never be modified. And if there is a law that is outdated, or if there isn't a law that, and there needs to be, for equality of certain people like homosexuals or something, then you're going to get people protesting about it and wanting the law changed, you know, and if enough people want it changed, then it'll get changed. You know, that's one of the good things about our system. Um, so as I said, you know, I don't think there should be any sort of religious law in the UK. But if we do have separate laws, religious laws for, you know, Sikhs, Catholics, Jews, then we should have them for Muslims too. Now I don't want any of them here, but it's really not fair for Muslims not to have their own when other religious denominations do. You know, just for me, it's, you know, I just think, you know, live the way you wish. You know, as long as it doesn't interfere with our existing laws that we have in this country. You know, it's the same for everyone, and I don't think it's such a bad thing to ask everyone to live by exactly the same rules. Anyway, I rambled on long enough. That's all I wanted to say. Cheerio.